Okay guys, hope y'all having a good day so far. Today we are going to install these Mountain Off-Road Enterprises 1-inch motor mount lifts for the Jeep TJ. So let's get to it. So I already have one of the steps done already. Hold on, let's go over here first. So the first thing you want to do is park the Jeep on a flat surface, make sure it cannot move. I don't really have a garage or anything, so I'm doing this in the grass. Get yourself a jack and a block of wood. You can put it on the bell housing or the oil pan. Make sure your block of wood is centered all the way across the oil pan so it helps distribute the load. So after you have that done, chalk up the rear wheels. And I'm gonna get the driver's side done first because that's the hardest. I'm just gonna get the sucky part done first. But you want to go over here to the passenger side motor mount. You want to loosen, but do not remove this through bolt. This bolt right here, it's a 15mm. Both the nut and the bolt are both 18mm. And this bolt down here, that's a 15, I believe. And there's one on the underneath, you're going to get underneath there. And I believe that's a 15mm too. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna try my best to record doing the driver's side, but as you can see here, you don't have a lot of room to get up in there. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of the filming on the passenger side, but it's gonna be the same for both sides pretty much. As you can see underneath here, you barely have really any room. But basically you need to put a wrench on the through bolt on the other side, have it hit something. So you don't have to have a hand on it, and you're going to loosen this nut all the way, take it off, punch the through bolt out, and as you can see here, you can see there's a nut there. That's what I was talking about on the passenger side. You're going to completely remove that. You're going to lift the jack up, and that motor mount should pop out. So I'm not going to film all this on this side. I will try my best to do that on the passenger side. So I'm going to have this out, have the motor mount in, and then we're going to switch to the passenger side. All right guys, one more thing. Make sure you remove the 4 bolts holding the fan shroud on, because when that motor is going to be lifted up, your fan shroud is going to get caught on the fan and it's going to break it. Make sure you remove those 4 bolts. Just take this, disconnect it off too. It clips up, and you're going to want to get underneath here, and you're going to want to completely remove these 4 nuts for the transmission mount. All right guys, so it's a new day today. Sorry for the noise over there, they are chopping up a tree. But anyways, here's the factory mount right here. Yeah, this thing didn't have much life left in my opinion. Experts please chime in, but this is already falling apart. It's dry rotted out. You could definitely feel the engine running to the dash. But yeah, so I ran into one issue. The mount's not there anymore, but where it sits right there, the through bolt will sit in this AC unit, and the bolt was not gonna be able to come out this way over here. And so I eventually I just cut the head off. Let me zoom out here. I just cut the head off the bolt. Got a screwdriver and a hammer, and I just punched it out the other way. Make sure you use your jack. Make sure you jack it up to the right height to where the bolt can just slide out. Otherwise, you're gonna be here for like 2 hours like me trying to fight it. Don't be like me. But yep, the old mount's out. I'm gonna slide the new one in. Like I said guys, I'm not gonna really video it. I don't really have enough hands here to do that. But I'm gonna videotape the passenger side. I was just showing y'all in case y'all have an O2 like me, and the AC unit is on the driver's side, right over here by the power steering pump. This through bolt's gonna hit it. Just cut the head off, get a screwdriver or something, punch it out the other side, or you can take the entire like engine mount, take it off the engine with the mount itself, and you can replace that all in one go. But I just chose the easier route in my opinion. I just cut the head off the bolt. So, yep, I'm gonna get this side in there, and we're gonna go to the passenger side. Like I said, I didn't really have enough room to film this, and it's really like a two-handed job anyways for the driver's side. I don't know about the passenger side. We're about to do that together and figure it out. Basically, just a recap, the driver's side, so the factory, they have the head of the bolt coming in the way that the nut is, right? So when you go and take it out, it's going to hit the AC, and you're not going to be able to take it out. So MOORE themselves in their instructions, I believe, I cannot find my instructions. I'm very irresponsible. I lost them. But basically, I think they recommend that you take the mount off the engine. There's 3 bolts back here, I believe. I didn't do that. That seemed more of an issue and a pain than it really was worth. So basically what I did was I just backed the bolt off a little bit, probably like an inch, and I cut the head off, got a long screwdriver and punched it out the other side. That was the easier route for me. But basically, when you're doing the driver's side, and this includes the passenger side, your jack placement is your best friend. You can kind of see you have it at an angle right here. So when you're jacking it up, the engine kind of comes like at a curve like this, you know? Because you remember, you're doing one side at a time. So this side's gonna be sitting lower. So your jack placement's your best friend, and if you still cannot get the mount to line up, you can always use a ratchet strap. I just strapped it right here on the fender. You can see where it's scratched. And just put it on the part of the engine that's solid and it's, you know, metal and it's not gonna break. That's what I did. But basically, passenger side's the same. You have a bolt right here. You have this through bolt right here, and there's a nut on the bottom, and then the captive bolt that's in this. You can slide it in just like the factory mount, and that's pretty much it. Just remember, your jack's your best friend. I'm gonna try my best to video the passenger side to go over this and re-explain it. But the driver's side, at least on mine's an 02, was a pain. It didn't take me that long. I'd say about an hour to do this side, hour and a half. It's just you have to work with the jack a little bit, and depending on how loose the strap is or how tight, you're gonna have to probably ratchet it over a little bit. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Just take your time, have a little bit of patience. There's not a lot of room to work. But yeah, we're gonna get on the passenger side now. So basically, if you haven't done any prior research, so you have, like I said, you have this bolt right here. That's a 15 millimeter. And this through bolt right here is an 18, both on the head of the bolt and the nut. So basically, when you are doing this, you're gonna do one side at a time. You wanna make sure one side is completely loose. That side is loose over there, and this side is ready to come out. So basically, the first thing you wanna do is you wanna loosen the through bolt. Make sure that's loosened all the way. Take off this bolt right here and take off the nut holding it on. Make sure the engine's supported, because once this mount comes off, it's not supporting the weight of the engine anymore. Okay guys, don't really have enough room to slide a hammer in there, but you know this motor mount, it's gonna be properly supported when you can just grab it like this, right here, and you can just slide the bolt out, right? Just like that. If it has tension on it, it means you're either too tight with the jack or the motor mount is still holding some weight. So basically, I already have it loosened. Remember guys, it's 15 millimeter. Make sure you have a long ratchet. Oh, still a little tight. Let me go get a 15 millimeter and I'll get right back to you. All right guys, so yeah, like I said, you're gonna need a pretty long extension. I didn't have that, so to use multiple. You're gonna take this bolt out right here. All right, put that to the side. You're gonna get this one out. Oop, AC unit's in the way. I had to bend that over. I'm using Gen fenders. I had to do a little bit of jerry rigging to make it work. I'm gonna fix that in the future. That bolt's out, and we have one left. So we're gonna get underneath here in the Jeep. All right. If you get underneath here and look, you see what I'm talking about. There is a nut. Oh, the sun's in the way, but if you look in the bottom of that bracket, there's kind of like a stud or whatever hanging out. There's a nut attached to it. Make sure you take that off. It's on the bottom of this mount. So once that's off, this motor mount should come out. I think I already have it taken off. So let's just go here. This mount should just come out. Yep, there we go. I must have already taken it out before filming. Need 2 hands for that. So yeah, this is the old mount. These things are old, very, very old. So we're gonna go ahead and put the new MOORE mount in. Okay guys, so once you have your MOORE mount, it's gonna go in like this. So you're gonna slide it up in there. Let's see. All right, goes in there like this. Make sure you have the tab out like this. All right, remember, if you look at it like this, remember you have that bolt that's in there. And that goes in the hole in the frame. Get it in there. There we go. It's seated in there. Okay. So as you can see here, since this is a 1-inch lift, see how the mount's going to be higher than the actual bracket on the motor? That's when the jack comes in handy. So you're going to go over here to the jack. Remember, do not jack it up too much, otherwise you can mess something up. So you're going to come over to the jack, you're going to lift it up. You don't want to do it too much, guys. Remember, you still have that mount over there and you can tear it. You can come over here. Okay. It moved a little bit. Still needs to come up more though. Jack it up just a little bit. You want to do this very, very slowly. You want to come over here, jack it up, look at the bracket, and do it again and again. Make sure you don't jack it up too much. Okay, so that's moved a little bit. We're going to keep going and going and going. Okay, jack it up a little bit. Make sure you wash the engine. Okay, come back over here. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty close to being lined up, so let's just see how it feels. Just gonna go in the same way. Just slide your bolts in. Ooh, I ain't got no room to do this. See if we can do it this way. Slide your bolts in over there. Oh, there we go. Just like that, guys. Woo, I got that on my first try too. So once you have that bolt in right there, go ahead. Let's go over here to the bolt bin. I'm gonna grab this actually, bring it over here. Make sure you get your nut. I have no idea if this is the right nut, but to figure it out, make sure you just put that on there hand tight, just so you don't lose it. Just like that. Okay, it's on there hand tight. That's just so we don't lose it. All right, and same thing as how you took it off, you're gonna put it back on. This bolt right here, it's gonna go right there in that hole. And you have a nut, I believe, it's not any of these, it's somewheres. We're gonna get to that in a second. But make sure, since this is right next to the engine and they're kind of old and rusty, make sure you put some anti-seize on it. It's a good recommendation by me, because in my opinion, these are bolts that you do not want to be stuck. But yeah, we'll put some anti-seize on this. We're gonna go ahead and screw this in. Make sure you use a tool with a long extension. Do not do it tight yet. Okay guys, so here is the nut. Unfortunately in my case, I have part of the frame sticking out. The MOORE mounts, they use a longer bolt right here. It came into contact with the part of the frame right there on the left. As you can see it, the bare metal. I just got a grinding stone and grinded that down. I don't know if my Jeep is an outlier, but in my case, I had to trim that down. If you're in the same situation as I did, just grind it down just enough to where you can slide a socket and the nut back on there. Make sure you don't grind off or take away too much material. Okay, so once that's done, you can go ahead and tighten that nut down. And you can tighten down the rest of the stuff on the bracket. Just remember you have that nut in the bottom. that bolt right there and the through bolt in the nut. Same exact thing on the other side. Make sure you tighten everything down. And remember, those 4 nuts on the transmission mount, they go right there. Make sure you put those back on, torque those down the spec too. And then you can go over here, make sure you slide this back in there, reattach your fan shroud. You can reuse your original holes, but before you start the Jeep, make sure your fan still does not come into contact with the shroud. In my case, it still did, and the fan hit here when I started the Jeep up. Don't do that. Make sure you double check, make sure your fan is not hitting the fan shroud. And if it does, just lower the hose just a hair so your fan can clearance. So that's basically it. You can come over here, start the Jeep up for y'all. I already had to move it here before, but that's the first time I've actually felt it. With the stock mounts, those the engine was moving a little bit. It just did not feel right. I can already tell you, just from being in here, it runs a lot smoother than stock. It's obviously not buttery smooth. I have an evap leak, I have an exhaust leak, and I also have an aftermarket exhaust that drones a little bit. So it's not as smooth as I like it, but that's not on MOORE, that's on me. But overall, I'm fairly impressed. That was a pretty easy install. Just take your time. And the main benefit of a motor mount lift is that it not only improves your drive shaft angles, you can also install an ultra high clearance skid, just like this one from UCF. You are not going to be able to do that with the original mounts. So that's basically it, guys. Just take your time. Make sure you place the floor jack at an angle to where you can maneuver the engine left and right. And that's basically it. If you have any questions, please comment.